welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am, and this is, and welcome to That Was Weird.
Okay. Hope you enjoyed our little comedy bit. Why are we wearing tinfoil today, Bill?
We're wearing tinfoil?
Today?
Like this isn't normal. Well, today we've decided that we're going to do something fun and exciting and discuss um I think this tinfoil is too tight. We're
Very
going to
warm.
discuss you know what? My brain is cooking and it's kind of nice. Normally you
There's
got to
probably
pay a
some
lot of money for
parasites.
that.
There are probably some parasites up there, and you probably end up coming out healthier at the end of this.
You never know.
Today,
We're
it's all
gonna
about
Mom.
conspiracy. What?
Oh,
Conspiratorial theories.
conspiracies.
Yes.
Uh,
Conspiracy theories. Okay.
the moon landing was fake. The Earth is the moon is hollow. It's a
The
flat
Earth is hollow.
Earth.
No,
Earth
no.
is hollow.
Okay. And
The
flat,
moon is a
hollow, and
hollow
flat.
spaceship. It's hollow and flat. Explain to me how the fuck that works.
Birds
Um,
aren't real.
Birds aren't real. We're all living in a simulation. My computer just yelled at me. What the hell was that about?
Oh
Okay.
no, you're getting too close. One of those triggered it. Which one?
um, Let me think. What else are
Just
we
gonna keep on
talking?
running through them until there's a knock on the door.
Yeah, it's just this Bigfoot's real, but he's not actually like some monkey person. It's some creature that fades in and out of different dimensions. Let's see, what are some other good ones?
You know, my favorite
Um,
thing about watching the Bigfoot guys is when they try to lure him out by making mating calls. My thing is like, what if it works? What's part two?
Am I okay? So I'm not the only one that's thought about that. So you got a freaking Sasquatch comes out hard as a rock, looking at you like, ooh, ooh, and that, well, okay, you better have something to deliver at that point. It'd be like that Ace Ventura movie, that one scene with the gorilla in the bushes. Oh God!
One time I hope it works for him. Just because I want to know what. If it's real, I
Honestly,
don't want to talk about it.
if you ever get a chance, if you look up, um, I've discussed this show before. If you look at the show Brickleberry,
Hmm.
there's actually a scene where they find the Sasquatch, right? And there's this guy. It's one of those guys, the Sasquatch hunters, just chasing him around. He's like, "I'm gonna shoot it in the face." Why? So I can prove that it exists? Couldn't you just get some hair or something? Like, I feel like that's a bit of an extreme take on what. Okay. Uh,
Well, I think one conspiracy theory we should probably get to right off the bat is the dead internet theory. Are
oh,
you familiar with this?
I was gonna say that this show's worth a damn.
The dead internet theory is basically the idea that there's very little actual human interaction with the internet nowadays. Most of what you're seeing on the internet is brought to you by AI or bots of some sort. There's actually been a decline in the amount of actual real life human flesh and blood people on the internet. And
That
I
wouldn't
can
surprise
remember
me.
going all the way back to playing Diablo in the 90s on the BattleNet. And besides just having the game, there's also like little chat rooms you can group up and like look for guilds, look for groups, look to play with. And there are bots in there way back in the 90s. They're programmed bots that would say, if someone said, "Oh, I'm looking for a guild," and a person who said nothing else was also, "I've got a guild, come join my guild." Because it's just a key word. You said guild and it activated that bot. You got
Then
to
you
some
get
point,
robbed and your character gets raped. I remember that.
that was a you experience. That didn't happen to anyone else. And also, Diablo was online. You didn't go meet somebody in the alley. You knew that, right?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, it got to the point where like you type in, "I think so and so is a bot," and it's like, "Bot? What's a bot? You're a bot." So that's back
Yep.
in the 90s. Imagine what they can do today, 30 some odd years later. So yeah. So I think we should just right at the very beginning of the show address that we are, well, at least I am a real person. Bill, I'm not sure about.
Yes. Oh no,
No,
I'm a real person. We know that.
ah, no, because you always try to do that robot thing with me. Remember that you always like, come on, just do. Was it? I don't know. It was like something to help you charge or like sync up. You always want me to dock with you. You always say, let's go do some
Yeah.
docking. That's some robot thing, right?
Yeah. Robots.
Mm.
Sure. Let's get yeah. Robots. God, you fell for that a lot.
Oh, what else would we like to talk about today?
Oh well, I mean, shit. What couldn't we talk about? Well, I like I was when I was looking through some of the different conspiracy theories that we're thinking of. Obviously there's the classics. I don't like the moon landing theory just because I don't know. Like I feel like uh,
Well,
that's one
I
of
think
those
for
ones. There's evidence on both sides, all of it compelling. No way to prove it.
I think for me, when it comes to conspiracy theories, generally I don't give a damn about any of them. But for me,
I
there's
just
like
think they're
three
fun.
criteria. There's three criteria. I like to listen to it. Sometimes like, oh, that's a kooky idea. I don't like that. But the three criteria, and the first one is why. Why
Why
would
hasn't it
anyone do
worked?
this? And so take the moon landing. Why would someone fake the moon landing? Well, at the time, I guess maybe if they want to win the space race,
Yeah,
it
they were trying
shows.
to beat the Russians and all of that. But
So yeah, I can.
honestly, the big argument to that's always going to be though. So what you're going to tell me is you faked this.
Mm,
All these other countries, mind you, that were against us and all of this, agreed to
go along with it.
go along with it, even though it would make us look bad. And for
Mm,
all these years, they've done it. Now, on the
that's
flip side of that coin, though, and this is where it gets weird, we've never gone back to the moon. Okay, well, whatever. You go there. I feel like the moon's like really bad, like Sandals Resort. You've been there once, you kind of seen it.
no,
Um,
yeah.
but here's the weird thing, and this is actual evidence you can look up. It's nuts. So when they've asked NASA scientists why we can't go back to the moon, it's always been the same answer. Well, we don't know how. So all the technology that we had back then, mind you, this was in the fucking 40s, because I mean, the space shuttle was running on, basically what an old Casio calculator runs on now.
They had
Um,
really good rubber bands back then. You kind
I'm telling you, you could really, and at the same time, the original footage from the landing was lost.
mm-hmm.
When the footage that we all see that still exists was actually not even direct feed footage. They wouldn't allow them to do direct feed. What they had to do was they invited like news organizations in. They set up a big display that fed the feed to the screen, and then they were allowed to record from that. That's why all the shit you see now looks so grainy and out of date. That's
That's
because it was shitty.
that gets to my second criteria for conspiracy theories is the how do they keep it secret? How do you have this many people working on a thing and it stayed secret for so long? Like nobody blabs something to someone at home, and then that person years later go,
Oh
Dad
no,
always used to talk about.
things have been blabbed, but I mean, I see. Here's the problem with conspiracy theories. The truthful problem with the conspiracy theory as a whole. So you have two legitimate fields of conspiracy theory. Dumb. You have the people that believe in it, and you have the people that think it's ridiculous. Here's the problem: the majority is the people who think it's ridiculous. So the second you're like, no, I can prove it, they're like, you're a fucking kook, stop talking. And my personal favorite one, which I saw this one the other day, and I'm like, hey, I don't like it, doesn't surprise me because nothing that happens in this world surprises me anymore. Um, but the CIA has come out and said, like, for the longest time, and more than likely still till today, but they're not going to say that. They'll set up people in certain positions and areas that purposely misinform things like that in order to create this mentality of, well, this is just a kooky theory. Obviously they're nuts, even though
A
they might be
false
onto something.
flag.
Oh yeah.
You get the loudest, nuttiest person to say the thing. So the next person comes along and go, well, yeah, you're just like that other kook. All right. Well,
I.e.,
then
why
there's
it's always a dirty redneck at a tornado scene. I'm just saying.
mm, then there's my third criteria of what's wrong with conspiracy theories is that's kind of like, so what? If we did or didn't make it to the moon, so what? Does it matter how far away you touch rocks at? Really, at the end of the day,
I
I'm
mean, that's funny to me because that's exactly how I feel too.
I'm willing to believe that yeah, there's probably some stuff that's going on that we don't know about or we don't know the truth about. But does in my everyday life does it really matter?
No,
Like, would I have been a rich man right now had we actually made it to the moon or actually never made it to the moon? Either way, no, probably not.
no,
So
but I honestly, the funny thing about it is when you look at it from that respect, which I think is a pretty rational and reasonable mentality to have, is why do you like conspiracy theories? Because they're fun. Do you
yeah,
believe in them? I don't believe or disbelieve. It is what it is. I mean, at
conspiracy
the end, it
theories,
is a
cryptids,
theory.
ghosts. It's fun to listen to.
Yeah, 100%. But at the end of the day, let's take the moon landing because that's kind of like I feel like that's always the one on the tip of everyone's tongue when it comes to conspiracy theories of moon landing. Whether we did or didn't, your only argument to this, for or against, is the U.S. government lied to us. No, like that's literally the only part of that theory that okay, yeah, I get it. I believe
Yeah.
that.
Mhm.
Other than that, it's like okay, we didn't go to space. Fucking so. Like,
You know,
so the
it's what I
International
read one
Space
time
Station
though.
don't exist? What?
That if we did make it to the moon and planted the flag there, it's been up there since like what the '60s, just
Hmm.
getting hit by UV rays because there's less atmosphere on the moon, so it's been
Oh, absolutely.
bombarded by UV rays. So right now, even if it was an American flag, it's been bleached white at this point. It looks like the French made it there.
Or the moon is surrendering,
Yeah.
which is not much different than if the French made it there. So, um, here's the thing. My favorite one, and I always love this is so there's the hollow moon theory states that the moon is an abandoned spaceship. A lot of stuff's been proven on that, but still, it doesn't change anything. Who cares?
Mm,
Um, But my personal favorite one has always been so we made it to the moon legitimately.
okay.
We got to the moon, got to the dark side of the moon because I actually didn't know this once I started digging into the conspiracy theories. I did not know the moon does not rotate. I assumed that it kind of had like a rotational orbit the
Hmm.
same way the Earth does, but no, it just kind of stays in one spot and moves.
Hmm.
But what's crazy to me is so that's why there's always that reference to dark side of the moon because on the dark side of the moon it's always dark. There is no point in time where light hits it. Um, so the big conspiracy is we did go to the moon. We found out there was something already on the moon, and we fucking left, and we just told them sorry, our bad, and we just didn't come back. Which
So like
cool. Yet again, does
going
it
to the
affect
moon's
me?
kind of like wandering into the bad neighborhood. Is what you're
Right?
saying. Oh, geez. Okay, yeah. You know what? I'm gonna just see myself out. Okay.
Yeah. As soon as we got on the moon, landed, got to the dark side, started hearing a smoke detector beep. Fuck.
Where's that come from? Do you have any conspiracy theories that you particularly enjoy? Maybe that you
Oh,
find. Do you have anything that you came up with more or less by yourself? Let me ask you that one.
not something that I came up with by myself, but it is one of my favorite conspiracy theories because I legitimately believe that there is some validity to it. And it's one of those things that the more I've thought about it, the more it's like son of a bitch. And then I had a part of that that came to me as a oh shit, here's a little piece of proof that maybe we live in a simulation, and that is the simulation theory. And my
Okay.
piece of proof to that was it dawned on me. So out here in Kentucky, people don't know how to drive like at all. Like they think the
Yes.
speed limits is fucking suggestion, and I don't even. I'm not even like
They can't even read a number that high. So
no. Well, they can't read at all. What stop mean? Yeah.
Where?
Like their idea of driving is obviously too much NASCAR. Because like you'll be driving down a 2-lane road and next thing you know you've got a fucking guy riding your ass. Meanwhile, there's not another car to be seen. So like
Hmm.
he could get over and just go around you very easily. But he wants you to know he's faster than you because his dick is small and he's in a rush to get home fuck his cousin.
With a
Um
small dick.
with his small dick in his lifted truck because I'm impressed. But here's the weird thing. So like 55 miles per hour is pretty standard out here in terms of speed standard speed limits. But like I'll be driving down the road and sons of bitches will be going past me doing 80, 90 like it's nothing. But now here's the kicker. In my entire life of driving, I have never had a speeding ticket once until I moved to this state. But meanwhile,
You going
everybody
too slow?
speeds. So, well, no, what happened was, and this kind of feeds into it, which doesn't help. I was driving down a road in a town called Harrodsburg, and I had me. It was a 2-lane road. We were all driving. There was a car in front of me, a car like kind of offset from me, and there might even been a car behind me. And what was weird was this cop had passed, went like a fucking mile up the road. And next thing you know, its lights kicked on and it turned around. And what was really weird is all the cars around me were fucking gone. They either just randomly turned off or I don't know what the hell happened to them. They disappeared, slowed down. I don't have a fucking clue. But I got a ticket. And I realized something. It's a simulation. None of these other cars exist.
Oh.
Because if I speed, I'm going to get in trouble. But that's why there's that always that running, thing that people say, well, they speed like crazy, but let me do it and I'll get in trouble. Well, yeah,
Mhm.
because you're the only one here right now. Um,
It's kind of like
but I
playing
have,
Grand Theft Auto. And
yeah,
you look for a certain car, and as soon as that's a car you're looking for, it's not around anywhere.
yeah, exactly. But
Hmm. Yeah,
but
that one
I
came
also,
prominence with the
I,
what was it, the Matrix.
oh yeah. Well, my big thing is I'm also convinced there's only actually like a handful of people that live on the planet that are
Mm.
real. Therefore, there's a lot more simulation and it can run in the same principle as a video game where we don't need some just massive supercomputer that's running everything and rendering everything all at once. We don't need that. Just like a video game, it only renders what we're looking at that given time. So
That would
like
also
right,
explain why, getting back to traffic, you see so many people, different people, doing the same stupid maneuvers. How many times you've been driving down the road and there's a car in the side street and it wants to turn out, and there's not enough time to turn out, but goes, I'm going anyway. And you go slam on the brakes, and while you're slamming on the brakes, you look behind you to make sure the person behind you is also hitting their brakes, and there's nobody there. And you're thinking, why couldn't you have waited 5 more seconds? What? So many people do that.
because it's just like the Sims. They're auto programmed to just turn. They ain't have time to wait for you. But that to me is one of the greatest in terms of weird incidences, but completely unexplainable.
Hmm.
You can't. I mean, I feel like I feel bad for whoever bought like the upgrade pack for me. Bad knees, bad back, and a shitty job. Like I don't know who spends the extra $7.99 or
What?
8.33 grubles, whatever it is.
They had free credits they got somehow. Like
I
they done the
it,
quest, got free
this was
credits.
the
They're like, have a
expansion
upgrade
pack they
bill.
didn't want. Hmm. Oh, I can get a fat guy. Yes.
I
Um.
think your machine's degrading, really. Whatever you're plugged into, they have not updated the hardware. It's kind of like
Yep.
how Apple automatically, like, they slow their things down. They don't want you running too fast no more. They can't. The
Yeah.
draw the draw
Yeah.
distances aren't quite there anymore. So you
Maybe
just need to
that's
slow
who's
it
running
down.
the simulation. That could explain a lot of things. Oh, listen to this. Speaking of Apple, because you brought it up, so this is on you. Um,
I've said the forbidden word. My bad.
you've spoken the forbidden word. I was watching the other day. So, have you ever seen the show Shark Tank?
Um, parts of it.
Okay,
Never sat
yeah,
down and watched the whole
yeah.
episode.
I've seen like an episode or two over the years, but you have your general panel of judges. Um, just a panel of fucking rich people who were born into wealth and therefore have a shitload of it. Must be
Hmm.
nice.
And think they did something to earn it.
No, their family just bought the expansion pack way back for a lot of money. They put in the cheat code.
Hmm.
Um, but there's a guy on there. Everybody knows him. It's the bald guy, white bald guy. He's relatively nice. I mean, he's not like some of the other assholes. But anyways, he was on. I watched his TikTok, and he was talking. So apparently, he worked for Steve Jobs, like back in the
Hmm.
day. And all he does is talk about how Steve Jobs was just a fucking piece of garbage, like just a massive piece of garbage. Like the way he talked to people, treated people, everything. Basically, the whole company was run his way only. No, there were no other ideas. It was just his ideas. Um, so like for one of the best examples I remember hearing about was they brought him the first prototype of the iPod.
Hmm.
He picked it up, he looked at it, he walked over to a fish tank, threw it in the fucking fish tank, and bubbles were coming out. And he literally looked at him and said, if there's air in it, then that means there's space to make it smaller. Like, dude was just obviously he was a fucking
I mean,
monster.
if you get fired from your own company that you made, chances are you're an asshole.
He didn't get fired from his own company. He fucking quit and used fired because, God forbid, a god such as Steve Jobs get a cancer. Meanwhile, that's one of the few times in life where I'm like, he has cancer. Fucking
I'm not
good.
talking about it at the end. I'm talking about in the beginning.
Oh
Back when he
yeah.
first started,
Oh
they
yeah.
kicked
Yeah,
him out.
that's right. Yeah. Well, that's because, you can only steal so many people's ideas and claim them as your own before they get pissed.
Well, so something you're going to enjoy. Tish told me this not too long ago. Like in her job, where she manages all these people that go out and clean houses,
Hmm.
and she'll give them, like the address they got to get to, and whenever they call in saying I can't find this place, the first question she'll ask them is, "Are you using Google Maps?" And 99% of the time, they can't find this place, and she asks that question. She goes, "No, I'm on Apple."
Hmm.
She go,
Like
"Okay,
what?
go
Like
find
that
Google."
makes me happy. Go find Google Maps because that'll get you there. Apple Maps doesn't even know where it's at.
Yeah, they'll type in and go, "Oh, I'm 2 blocks over."
Like, I'm a very firm believer, and I never wish cancer on anybody. But that was one of the few times where it was like, well, we got the right person this time. Um,
You kind of wish he had survived his cancer and then gotten a worse cancer.
yes, that would have been great.
Well,
The only thing that makes me giggle about that whole thing though is so, he was obviously against, computer, Microsoft, that was the big rival.
mhm.
And at the end of the day, it was pancreatic cancer that got him, so a PC took him out. And that makes me right here, right here. I'm telling you, right here. That makes me feel good.
One of the good parts about the simulation being one of the designers had a little sense of humor that day.
Well, the good news, it's a good. See, if it was an Apple simulation, everybody would know it exists and was real because they'd be constantly trying to charge everybody.
Well, as far as personal conspiracy theories, I've got two one of them I think I came up with on my own. One of them maybe I kind of like agreed to somebody else, but one I came up with on my own way back when I was in high school. And you
Oh,
gotta
this is already
understand,
good.
the town and the high school I grew up in was not very diverse. There's not a whole lot of people who didn't look like me there. Basically, I
There
went
was a
to high
lot of
school.
Polacks there. There was a lot of Polacks. Uh,
It was a whole bunch of white boys desperate for some culture. Basically what it was. We were too suburban to really get that good redneck, kind of yeehaw kind of lifestyle going. And you know what else was really big in the '90s? Like hip hop had become this like meteoric rise. So there's the kind of we had a whole bunch of white boys going around saying such stupid things for little white boys to be saying, like faux shizzle, bling bling, biatch, and all that. And I was fairly certain back in the day that there is a secret society of black people. We're running a contest over who could come up with the best word to get stupid white kids to say. I was convinced that was a thing. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but you could see it back in the day. Like whoever came up with faux shizzle, they got some like I don't know credits or whatever they're passing out. The
Actually,
idea.
I think the faux shizzle may have actually been a white person.
No, that was Snoop Dogg. I was looking it up for the show.
Was it
Dillio.
Snoop?
Yeah, Dillio came from a punk band. What's the Dillio? But yeah,
I don't know. What is the Dillio?
I don't think they ever answered that question. They left that hanging. They came out with that song and faded into obscurity, and now we'll never know. Yeah,
How
so
can they do that though? See, there's proof of a simulation. How are you going to come up with such a question? I mean, the biggest thing in the world is who let the dogs out, and we still don't have the answer to that.
They took out that quest at some point, and they just didn't never let it.
Have you ever been walking down the street?
Not lately, no.
And seen a cat, or particularly a cat, sitting on like a stump or something, but there seems to be a beam of light shining on them, and your immediate go-to is that cat has a quest for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I come home and sometimes they're sitting on the mailbox, like, oh, what is it?
Oh shit! Holy shit! I think the CIA saw it. That was weird.
Saw it? Heard
Like,
it?
well, everything, because all of a sudden
Held it?
everything just went cattywampus. Everything went down. I got scared. I peed a little, and that's good. But you know what?
That might be the simulation breaking down again, or whatever.
I think so. But you know what? I think
What's that?
this leads us into a great opportunity for our commercial break.
Oh yes, our sponsor for this week.
Our sponsor of the week this week is Lingering Doubt.
Did you start the dryer? Did you pay all your bills last month? Did you remember to clear your browsing history? Let Lingering Doubt worry about that for you.
Hold on a second.
Oh shit.
There we go.
All right.
Gotta clear
Yeah,
that. What's
So,
up? Whose balls?
So yeah, the one conspiracy theory that I had back in the day was that I thought there was a secret black person game to make white kids say stupid stuff, and someone made a whole lot of points off of Biatch. The other conspiracy theory that I have, I said maybe not didn't come up with this one myself, but I fleshed it out on my own. You know, sitting around thinking my thoughts like I do, is that human beings are not from this planet. Something dropped us off. We were.
Oh yeah.
We were something's pet that just started like they were fucking or fighting. We were doing one or the other, and they got tired of it. So they're like, you know
We were
what?
tearing up the curtains. Like
We pee on so many things. We created things you can't get out of the couch. So yeah, they're like, you know, this Earth's planet over here. They got these monkeys. It's close enough. Just put them by the monkeys. So, but really, what got me to there is like we are like the only thing on this planet, the only species that cannot cooperate with the other species. Like you think of like you have a plant growing, then some deer come by, they eat the plant, and that's okay. But there's too many deer, they eat too many plants, nothing's good. But then we have the wolves, and the wolves come by, they eat the deer. You know what? They only eat the sick deer, the old deer. So really, the deer population as a whole gets better because they're weeding out the bad ones. And the good ones are passing on their genes, and the wolves, they got this whole thing where they'll limit their breeding. They'll just, if there's too many wolves, they stay at this right size, and the things they kill, other things come by later. They scavenge off of what's dead, and whatever's left behind it decays, and there's got nice new plants again growing up from that. For the deer, it's the whole cycle. Then we combine like we want to eat cows and cows alone, so we're just going to clear all this area and put cows here, and fuck that wolf, I'm going to kill it. And oh, now there's a whole lot of deer, well, I'm going to kill them too. And man, cows are tasty. Nothing else is doing that, least of all the cows.
Well, actually, you know what? What's really funny about that is actually a standing theory right now. There is actually a conspiracy theory based on that, but it expands a little bit more. It says we were placed here because think of this. Think of how easily we get cancer.
Mhm.
Nothing
From
else
the
on this from the sun. Nothing else gets it. As a matter of fact, most everything else on this planet has evolved to handle everything in this planet. I mean, sharks can't even get cancer. Most fish and everything have scales to prevent them from getting damaged by sun. We don't handle anything here well.
Hmm.
Like the gravity here is really actually not all that great for us. Like there's so much that they've gone across,
And
and
just think of
it's
like when a human is born, you get this little tiny baby that's useless for how
yep,
long? Most
yep.
of
We
like
are.
I had chinchillas. A new chinchilla would be born. That thing would be running around by the end like 2 hours later.
Yeah, we are the only creature that has to be essentially parented forever, like
I
for
did read
years.
somewhere that it's because of the way we evolved to walk on two legs. Women have to have narrower birth canals, so it means we have to give birth to a much smaller baby for just for everyone to survive. And okay, that makes sense, but you don't want to put too much of that information out there because then the wrong people are gonna be thinking, well, if women just crawled all the time. So
If women just crawled all the time, it'd just be a perpetual. Never mind.
anyway,
I
yeah,
feel
it's my
like
other
that's how
theory.
that's going to get you into that situation. Um,
It's a thought. Maybe we shouldn't act on that thought though. Like we just let that be a thought.
no, the thoughts would be the one that are crawling all the time. What?
Anyway, what's some other fun conspiracy theories? I've got
Okay. Anyway,
one. What? You
yeah,
still think about
sorry,
when I'm calling?
yeah, I was still there.
You're the wrong
Where,
person. You're the guy I was warning us about.
yeah, but I have that for a whole nother reason. Um, uh, they don't have to
I've
crawl
got
all the
one.
time, just for a little while.
I got one. This is another one that kind of like when you get to like the three criteria I got. In the end, it doesn't really matter if this is the reason or not. But kind of came to me from one of my, I say major influences in storytelling. As you know, Bill knows I like to spin a yarn every now and then, tell a story.
I remember the one you used to tell about the time that you lost your cock ring in the what was it the zebra? Or no, it was the donkey. And
Oh,
yeah,
that's just the stupid stuff I come up with when like, I was bored. But like the real stuff that I do now, like I don't know how many times like he'll call me up like, "Hey, what's up?" I go, "I'll tell you what's up." I saw a guy and he's there. He was standing outside the road, and then a well-dressed dog went past him, and it was walking itself. It was a guy who like he didn't care because he was just doing jazz hands. Bill knows exactly what story I'm talking about. By the time he'd be like, "Hey Neil, how you been?" I go, "I'll tell you how I've been. I saw a guy. I don't think he's wearing pants. He might be my guardian angel." Like it's always something. And
and so on a side note, folks, this is why majority of our interaction takes place right here. I don't
so
call
you
him
all get
very
to suffer
often
along with it.
because when I call him, this is the shit I gotta hear. Remember the
Uh,
one time with the dog that was doing this, and then there was a guy. He got into a fight with a bicycle. A bicycle won, and then you're just sitting there like, "This is the rantings of a fucking madman."
one time I talked about dick so much, I want to cruise. Yeah, that's a true one. uh, it's a bit more nuance to it than that, but yeah.
And
Uh,
not as much more nuance as you'd think.
There's, yeah, just a little bit more elaboration, but no. Way back when I was younger, my parents introduced me to a song called Alice's Restaurant, told by a man named Arlo Guthrie. And it just the way he did it, he took what was basically a minor, maybe a kind of significant event for him, but in the grand scheme of things, minor. Basically, he was arrested for littering, and sometime later, when he got called in down to get reviewed for the draft, they brought it up like, "Oh, you see here, you got arrested one time," and his whole thing was like, "You think I might not be able to go in the army and go bomb houses and kill people because I was littering?" That's the crux of the story. But he's been telling it for probably close to 60 years at this point. And there's an art to storytelling that you find the spots that you can elaborate on, the spots that you can make a bit more fanciful. And you find the spots that are key. That you got to keep these in here, as is. And I definitely took that away from listening to Alice's Restaurant so many times. And it was, I believe, the 30-year re-release. They did a remastered version of the original album that the song was on, And there's a one little added part at the end of his song they added, is saying that basically when President Carter was inaugurated, he got an invite to the inauguration ball. He's like, well, I should probably go because I don't think I'm going to get another one ever. So he went, and the president's son, Chip Carter, found him. And go, oh, guess what? We're cleaning out the Nixon library. We found a copy of your record, Alice's Restaurant, in there. He's like, well, was it open? He goes, it was. He goes, I didn't think about that for a long time, till right about when Nixon died, and everyone was thinking about him again. And he goes, Nixon, for anyone who doesn't know, he liked to record stuff. He liked to record a lot of things. In a world before, VCRs and cassette decks are everywhere. He was ahead of his time. But the thing is, wasn't anything Nixon ever recorded that really got him in trouble. Is stuff that he had omitted from the recordings. And there was a very, very long gap in one of them, about 18 and a half minutes long. He's thinking about one night, he goes, Arlo, how many things in this world are 18 and a half minutes long? Because his song, the original recording of Alice's Restaurant, was about 18 and a half minutes long. So it's one of those things, it's like, probably wasn't it, but it could be. And does it really hurt anybody to think that's what it was? I like the idea that Nixon was in his office like, hang on, you got to hear this.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, they admitted it was just Nixon singing along or talking along with us. You can get anything you want. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so stupid.
But it's fun.
I love it, but it's stupid. I love it. How about Nazis? Have we talked about Nazis yet?
Well, that's a hard shift, but yeah, let's go with it. where are we taking this? Or you should just bringing that out there?
Did you hear about the Nazis?
Which ones? The old ones or the new ones?
This one's for Matt. Matt, hi Matt. Matt. I haven't matted in a while, so I wanted to Matt.
Did we Matt last week?
We didn't Matt last week. I don't think we matted last week. We did not Matt.
It was. We need to Matt harder.
I think that sounds like the second movie in the series.
Matt.
To us, Matt Hard. Matt Harder.
Matt with a vengeance.
The Matt and the Furious.
No country for old Matt.
And for those of you that don't know this, in a group chat on our text messages, we will randomly start this shit.
The first one was years ago. We still occasionally we get to update it with new movies.
Matt Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
No.
Matt Story.
Matt doesn't enjoy this game at all. He's subjected to it. It's like we'll go for like an hour. Just at the end of it, like, fuck you both.
My favorite story about that is when Matt was working at Oregon and he was in some big meeting with a lot of bigwigs. His phone is just humming across the desk because there's two idiots sitting there going, Saving Private Matt.
Men and Matt.
Men and Matt. Batman. Yeah.
Where
Van Matter. I don't. Oh wait, where were we going?
Nazis.
Oh, Nazis. Yeah. How the fuck did we get to that?
No offense, Matt. No offense.
I don't think he'd take offense. Oh, what was I gonna say? Okay, yeah. So, what about Nazis? Have we talked about Nazis?
We said the word a bunch now. So
Nazis.
Yeah. I did not see this episode going this way.
Also later, let me tell you about Mel's Hole. What?
I don't even know a Mel. You will.
You will. Hey. We all know Mel. So let's talk about all the conspiracies that roam around in the Nazi world.
The category is Nazi.
Well, there's some good ones, and there's some ones in there. Like, have you ever seen a conspiracy theory where even you've got to stop for a second and go, "Huh, that's a little odd." So one of the biggest conspiracy theories is which again, there's a lot to this, and I'm just going to elaborate very carefully with this. I'm not going to get into super amount of detail because I'm not sure how good my memory is and all of it. But the basis is Hitler and Eva Braun never died. They didn't kill
Okay.
themselves. They escaped. They went to, I want to say it was Argentina, if my
Yes, the
memory serves me.
the
South
boys from
America.
Brazil. Yeah.
And what was weird about it is nobody believed it. You know, everybody know it didn't happen. But what's really creepy is there's this spot in Argentina, a small village, very remote. And if you go there in Argentina, not a lot of white people.
Except.
Except for this one village, it's filled with a lot of blonde-haired, blue-eyed, very native German-speaking people that have no feasible reason to be there and no explanation as to how they got there. But there are people there that will tell you,
Hey, where's your grandpa from? Don't worry about it.
mind your fucking business. Where's your? We don't talk about the grandpa like that. But yeah, there's photos taken apparently of Hitler.
I think there's within the last couple of years, there was a guy that I worked with. He's a cool guy, younger dude, like probably in his 20s. But like, I talked to him one day. He said that basically a lot of his family came from like Argentina, that area. But like, white as fuck boy, and like he had a very, very European style kind of last name. I forget exactly what it was, but it was like,
Rick Stein.
I'm not sure if he had heard this. I don't want to be the one to introduce him to it if he hasn't. Like, did you know you might come from Nazi stock? Like,
out of curiosity, is your last name Hitler?
Yeah, like, where do you go with the conversation after that? Honestly, like,
you probably don't want to go to that conversation because they might find you dead in a dumpster out back. No, I'm telling you that there's a lot to that was weird. The Nazis as a whole, I mean, that's a cornucopia of conspiracies and things. Because some of the shit they did during the war. Now, here's one, not a conspiracy theory, 100% truth. You can look it up. But it isn't the fact that it's true that's messed up. It's when you hear it out loud and it dawns on you and you're like, son of a bitch. So everything we've done from 1940, whatever, when World War II ended, on winning the war, rocket technology, everything, that was all built by Nazis.
yes,
And we hired
up
them.
the best scientists.
And the thing is like one of the guys that was, I can never remember his name, and it dropped because it's very fucking Nazi German. But he was the head of NASA for fucking ever, and this dude was a war criminal. Like,
Yeah,
damn.
it's amazing what you can look past when they're making you a nice new rocket. Like, yeah.
Yeah, well, we know you murdered women and children, but it's a fucking shiny toy. That's.
But now it's between us and the Russians, and we gotta get to space. Can you design a TV set?
Also, can you make a pen that'll write in space? Because we don't want to use common sense and use a fucking pencil.
All right. How about another? This is one I originally read just like someone's joke tweet, but it got me thinking. You familiar with D.B. Cooper?
Oh God, yes.
I'm not sure if that was on your list of things to get to.
Oh yeah.
Anyone who doesn't know, he became famous for basically hijacking a plane back in 1971. Got about $200,000 ransom money, and like the deal was his plane was going to land here. He's going to let everyone else off except like whatever crew. Then they're going to go somewhere else. He's going to let the other crew off after he got his ransom money, and he asked for like $200,000 and 4 parachutes. Between the stop where he left these people off and the next stop, he somewhere over southern Washington opened the door, jumped out with the money and 2 parachutes, and was never seen again. Bill, let me ask you a question.
And there is all kinds of people that have researched this trying to find him, his money.
Let me ask you a question, Bill. Now, I did read that some of the money did show up, like in 1980. They found it on a riverbank. It was like 2 bands, like stacks of like $20 bills, and like another one, like it's 2 bands like $120 bills, and another one of like 90. So like someone taking 10 of them out. So that's that's 200,000 minus whatever that is. But do you think it's possible within 20 years, between 1971, actually be close to 30 years. Jesus fucking Christ.
The fun part was I got to watch that happen, and it was fucking amazing. Because you
You're
see
why
the
I can't
cat,
have nice things.
you see the cat, and then you just see everything go like that. It was beautiful.
You know, I got another one that's just laying here peacefully. That fucker. Hey, what does
That's
this
a
do? I've never seen this before.
that's a four-legged fucking menace.
Anyway, yeah, between 1971 and 2003, so that's 30 years, right?
Jesus.
Do you think it's possible if you have that much money, $200,000, to launder it and then maybe invest it or however you do to expand it to about $6 million?
Oh,
Do you think
fucking
it'd be possible?
absolutely. Oh,
Okay,
absolutely.
because in 2003, a movie was released. It was produced, directed, starred a dude that kind of showed up out of nowhere. He's a guy who kept his life pretty mysterious. He doesn't elaborate too much on it. He kind of came up out of nowhere, produced this movie, and it was considered one of the worst movies ever. So bad they actually got an old movie about making the movie. I'm talking about The Room, directed by Tommy Wiseau. Are you familiar with any of this?
No, I haven't heard about this one. Please, now you've got me intrigued. My nipples are
This
actually hard.
like if you look up Tommy Wiseau. He directed this movie as a complete, considered one of the worst movies ever. But at the same time, like no one knows where he came from. He had enough money to finance the movie on his own.
Oh, yeah, that guy. And he did the movie and it was fuck. I've seen clips of it. Like
Yeah.
absolutely
Oh, hi,
awful.
Mark. Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah, like he said, like he had like sold whole bunch of leather jackets from Korea. And that's how he, made money. Don't worry about it. It's pretty much I got money. So no one knows where it came from.
When did that take place?
That was in
Like
2003 as that movie came out.
DB Cooper was 71, right?
71.
That, 19, so that means
According to Tommy Wiseau, he was born in 1955, which will put him at about 16 years old when it happened. That's if you can believe that's when he was born. Like I said, he kind of keeps all that stuff.
Yeah, he does. 1950 October 3rd, 1955. He was born in Poland.
Supposedly.
Poznan, Poland. Oh,
If you're going to be doing movies, if you're going to be doing movies, you probably know how to do some amount of makeup. So maybe you can make yourself look older if you need to hijack a plane. Maybe.
Well, see, that's the thing. I know the big push with DB Cooper, and it's amazing. Is it was the theory that they had, what they were trying to run with the all the detectives and everybody and the feds were trying to run with was that it was an employee from I don't remember the airline at the time that it was,
Mm-hmm.
had like there was this guy they knew, he had gotten done dirty, so he came up with this idea to rob the airline of all this money. And 71 $200,000, that's a lot of money. But I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. There's just not a lot of good background though, but I did not realize there was any connection with this Wiseau, whatever the hell his name is.
Mm-hmm. I'd say one of those things is probably like, it's not true, but it's fun to think about.
It is really interesting. I want to do.
You gotta have a lot of confidence to just show up and direct a movie, come up with a movie, but you also have confidence to hijack a plane. So,
yeah. And although I have one argument against that though.
Okay.
This guy, DB Cooper, had to convince people. Which, I mean, let's be honest, convincing people that not hard, but he's convinced people he was going to do X, Y, Z, right? Convincing someone is kind of like acting.
Yes. Okay.
And if I'm going to backpedal on that, if we've watched any part of that movie whatsoever, they would have shot him on the plane. I'm saying.
Imagine. I like thinking too. Like he did all this. Like he, hijacked a plane and dove off, but like then the movie he made is not that. Like why would you not tell that story? Like, how
Yeah,
is
damn it,
this
that
thing?
actually makes perfect sense. Like, so I want to do a quick shout out. It's to a YouTube channel slash podcast out there. I watch this thing fucking constantly. I am obsessed with him.
Mm,
The gentleman that runs it, his name is AJ Gentile. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It is a YouTube channel is where I first heard of it, and then it went to the podcast and everything. It's called the Y Files.
Y
Um,
files.
and if you ever want to see something that's just produced beautifully, um, the guy had his background in I think producing and things like that, movies, stuff like that. And then eventually he just decided, hey, I'm going to try this. And he talks about the thing that's funny with him is his sidekick in it is Hecklefish, and it's literally a fucking goldfish that if I'm right, he does the voice to, but it sits there and gives him shit the whole time, like just random stuff. Um, and so they erected this, so it was a huge erection. Like, yeah, that's how it runs. And it's
I gotta get
funny
that
as
instead of
hell.
just dickhead cats. It seems
Yeah,
like much better.
but I'm telling you, if anybody out there, if you're watching us, watch the Y Files. He does a lot of conspiracy theories and things, but he also debunks a lot of it. Like that's what he does. He goes through and he tells this amazing story, perfectly laid out, great storytelling. Just like you said, when you're gonna spin a yarn, it's got to be spun right.
Hmm.
It's got to draw me in, and that's what he does. Every episode, even the one you're like, this is stupid, then you go and watch it, you're like, that was fucking amazing. Um, but yeah, he's outstanding. His whole production's outstanding. I only wish I could have that kind of time and money to be able to, put that kind of effort into doing something like that because he's got like a whole studio and everything. It's awesome. Oh, but he's also got backgrounds in movies and shit. God, I'm tired. It sucks being old. Pretty.
Ooh, wake you up too early today?
Oh shit! I woke up too early today. That was a damn problem. Uh, but one of the ones he does. Oh shit! One of the ones he does that I really loved. It was about AI and the CRISPR. And now, do you know what CRISPR is? Have you ever heard of that?
The DNA thing, right?
Yeah, the DNA modification thing.
Right.
Well, he does a whole episode where he talks about AI taking over. It's insane. Like everything from really truly insane conspiracy theories to one of the ones he does that if you watch it, yeah, it's great, but it's gonna make you nervous. He does one where he talks about basically solar flares and things like that, and how which I didn't even know this. Apparently, there actually have been some very big, severe solar flares in
Mhm.
our history. But solar flares, although they are dangerous and everything else to people, they're really dangerous to equipment. But in
Yes.
the times that they've existed, but I guess there was one when there was telegraphs and things like that, and like telegraph machines were being unplugged and still working. Telegraph machines were
Okay, yeah, I think I
sparking
remember.
and lighting people on fire.
Yeah. Aren't we about due for a major one or something like that?
Yeah, they're talking like we're 200 some odd thousand years or something, 30,000 years, something to that effect, way past. Um,
Still.
theoretically, if you, if you, what, one thing you'll hear about consistently when you watch the Y Files or you watch anything serious into the conspiracy theory or evolution or whatever is you'll hear about one period of time that existed, and it's about 12,500 years ago, roughly, and it's known as the Younger Dryas. Um, and what the thing about this period of time is that is a time when a serious flood took place and killed basically everything on the planet. And what's really weird is whether you go through the Bible, the Quran, any form of group that has existed and been able to put anything on writing over history in that period in time, they all talk about a flood event that
The wet
happened on.
years.
That's what she said. Um, I don't all fours. Uh, throwback. uh,
Stop thinking about it.
sorry. Um, got
Derailed.
sidetracked.
Train of thought.
Oof. Okay, but yeah. So you sit there and you listen to this, and it's like, what's really crazy about it is there legitimately is so much to this. Um, there's a lot. If you start looking at, if you start again, this is every time you find a conspiracy theory, then you got to start diving down the rabbit holes.
Mhm.
And the one thing about conspiracy theories that I love is a good portion of them either are or aren't true.
Yes. As
But
most
there are,
things.
yeah, but there are some that it's like, hold on a
You can
second.
see where the lines blur. Like, okay, that part's bullshit, but that part there maybe.
Well, we're starting to see one. It's unfolding, but it's being very much not talked about. There was actually a TV show about it for a while. I'll have to look up and I'll bring it up the next time we do an episode because for the life of me, I can't remember.
Mr.
Um,
Rogers' Neighborhood?
no, no.
Okay.
You ever,
I'm
you
just
ever,
gonna name all the TV shows. Twilight Zone.
no, no. Have you ever noticed how
Mr.
white
Ed.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was? Anyways, so and he told everybody to get the fuck out of his neighborhood. Uh,
Soaked his feet with a black man. I don't know what you're talking about.
and then right after that camera turned off, you need to get the fuck out of here. He was wearing plastic socks. Uh, so if you ever get a chance, if you want to look up something, it's called Potbelly Hill. It's in
That
Turkey.
sounds like it's something like by you.
No, no, no,
Landmark.
no. I'm a potbelly fucker. There's a difference. Um, there's a place called Potbelly Hill in Turkey, and Potbelly Hill in the native language is Quebec Tepe. Um, and the thing is it's a place that they're currently excavating, which they've actually put the kibosh on because things weren't going the way they were supposed to, and it was aggravating the uh basically historians. Like they were literally legitimately getting pissed. So if you were to dig up a site and there was a site on top of a site on top of a site, in your mind, logically, that first site would probably be more advanced, architecturally, things like that, than the site at the very bottom.
I just think I found an apartment building, like an old one.
So as you get to the bottom, you notice that the bottom is extremely advanced, where the top is, or the bottom is extremely advanced, where the top is not. Like things
Mhm.
just aren't lining up. Like that's not how things go. It's not how this happens. And basically, what they're starting to find out, they're finding archaeological evidence all over the world, and it's starting to prove that the period of time when we existed and were advanced, i.e., using tools, creating things like
Mm.
that, is not as far, it's much farther back than we thought. 20,000, 30,000, 100,000 years.
So
Not,
what you're
but
saying is we're getting dumber. I don't think that's
no,
a conspiracy.
no, 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 no. I'm not saying we're getting dumber. I'm saying that from 12,500 years ago, the Younger Dryas, till
Mhm.
now, we were on a very steady and solid path. We're still on that path. It remains. But what's not making sense is from 12,500 years ago and beyond, all these, all the things that should be there, very simplistic bows and arrows, very minimalistic things are not what we're finding. We're finding things that are much more advanced than they
Mhm.
very well should be. But what the thing is, the thing that this is where it all comes into play is the things back here are extremely advanced for their time. Then it hits 12,000, approximately 12,500 years ago during the Younger Dryas, the Great Flood event. And then it's almost like it was a fucking reset.
Well, maybe that's when they drop us off. And
And the mentality that goes along with that is, and then this again, once again, we've hit the rabbit hole. Now, if you start looking into things, so when there's other books of the Bible that aren't actually taken into consideration for the books of the Bible, and one of the books of the Bible is I can never remember the name of it, but it discusses the Anunnaki. Um, and when everybody hears the Anunnaki, they go aliens. It wasn't aliens, at least not in the Bible. The Anunnaki were actually creations between humans and angels, crossbreeding. It created these creatures that God didn't want. So the flood event took place to wipe out everything, and like that's kind of the real breakdown, broken version of it.
Cliff notes.
Huh? Yeah,
Cliff
very
notes.
much Cliff Notes. Um, but you know, they keep finding this evidence. Um, and when you start watching different things on it, like the pyramids, one of the big ones that I've always liked, that I heard about long before I heard about the rest of this, and really does make sense is, so you know about the Sphinx in Egypt, right?
Yes, I'm aware.
Okay. Well, here's the thing. What people don't realize is when the Sphinx was originally found, it wasn't the whole Sphinx, it was just the head. They dug up the body. What didn't make sense to them was two things. One, why would you have a human head on a cat body? That doesn't make sense. Um, which, by the way, if you look into it, there's no other reference to a Sphinx anywhere else.
I'm not sure if you've heard of furries before.
I'm pretty sure they didn't have those back then. We hope. God, I hope. But here's the thing. There's carving that has been done on that head. So what they believe happened was there was originally a lion's head there. It was probably eroded. So when they found it, they decided to say screw it, and they chiseled it down to a human head, only to later dig it up. Because another thing that's really odd is if it is supposed to be a sphinx, the head is incredibly small compared to the body. Which is the reverse of Matt. So
Man, the anti-Sphinx.
the anti-sphinx. Matt, if you want to not be moist, Matt. uh uh Matt. But yeah, so I mean, like I said, when you start diving into some of these conspiracy theories, yes, there's a lot of them that are completely false, but there's also a lot of them that just don't. Like a lot of the stuff with the 12,500 years ago, our civilizations being much older, all of that, that is legitimately, it's been kind of almost debunked as a theory now, a conspiracy theory. Now this conspiracy has been pulled, and now it's starting to dip into, um, uh, you know, there's a lot starting to be pulled up from it where it's like, okay, maybe there's a little more to this than I realized. I wonder what it is.
Well, that's like a big whole thing. A lot of people think that conspiracy theory is like a just massive, elaborate thing you gotta unwind. How about one that's just very simple? It's not a big organization behind it. It's just a phrase. How about ever heard someone go, "Money doesn't buy happiness"? Does that sound exactly like something that someone with a whole lot of money would say to someone who doesn't have much money to make them stop trying to get some of their money?
Yep. Because I'll tell you something right now. Money may not buy happiness, but I'll tell you something right now. I'd rather cry in a Mercedes than in a fucking Civic.
I'm not looking for this. I just don't want to worry so much.
I don't want to be a millionaire. I just want to be able to go to Disney World one time. Like, it's.
If I'm at the gas station filling up gas, I want to be able to just kind of look off in the distance for a little bit. We're going, oh, shit.
Yeah. Oh, stop it. Well, you know what, Neil? I'm looking at our time here, and I realized that we might need to do another commercial break here. So,
speaking of money, get another sponsor going. All right.
Yeah, we got to get our next sponsor. So hold on. I got a set for this. Hold on. All right, folks. So, this is our final sponsor of the episode, and we saved the best for last. So, this episode today was brought to you by Paranoia. Paranoia. Did you hear that noise?
You heard it too? I thought. Wait, are we doing the ad read? What's going on?
Tighten your cap down, Neil. It's okay. There you go.
All right. All right. So probably start wrapping this show up. And you have I got one more on here that I got written down. This is one of my favorite ones to watch. Especially on YouTube videos, is the Sovereign Citizen movement. I love those guys.
Oh my
You
God,
are
they are magic.
they're not making the content, but they're making the content. Like really,
Oh yeah.
it's not them recording it, but they are the stars. There's so many good, especially watching like body cam footage, which is it's a great thing on YouTube. But if you're not aware of it, the old show cops, they don't need that much production. You don't need another guy in the car with a camera anymore. Basically, every officer has a body cam, and all you have to do is fill out a Freedom of Information request form and pay whatever fees associated, and you can have your own YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love it when they pull someone over, they come up and go, "Okay, the reason stop you today, you're going like a 50 and a 35," and they go, "I wasn't driving, I was traveling." Like, oh, this is going to be a good one.
I like the second they say I wasn't driving, I was traveling. This is an on-commerce vehicle. I'm putting down whatever I'm doing. And
No,
I'm
you got to pause
immediately
it. Go
like,
get some popcorn.
like
Go
these are
get a
the only.
drink.
I feel like these are the only people that if somebody just tased the piss out of them, nobody would even be like, "That's wrong. Don't do that." Like, no,
Hey,
you earned
cheers.
it.
If to anyone who doesn't know, they basically is a group of people that think the laws work in such a way that if you say just the right words, you're above the law. If you're because it comes from like bizarre interpretations of like you have the right to travel. That's guaranteed in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. You have the right to travel. That means that yes, you cannot be impeded from moving from one space to another. Doesn't necessarily mean you have to do it in a car.
Yep.
So saying that having to pay for a driver's license and insurance and registration is an impediment of your ability to travel is some bullshit.
Yeah,
And
pretty much.
I think the maybe the first few people that did it, they might have believed it. Beyond that, it's a multi-level marketing scam being pulled upon dumb people. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
and it's
well, it didn't
beautiful.
work for me, but I'm gonna have a seminar and invite all these people and convince them that they say these words.
But how beautiful! I mean, the ones and those are just the simplistic ones. How about them? How about the just abs of the unicorns? I love them,
Mm.
where they literally have their own license plate that they
Yo,
made.
yes.
Because you
Hmm.
know, if you arts and crafts a fucking license plate, it's perfectly legal. And well, I'm not traveling for commerce.
For
Fucking
private
so,
use, not for hire.
I don't have to have insurance. The fuck you do? Because when your dumbass hits me,
Mhm.
you ain't paying for it. Um,
Is is this a constitutional court or a navy or whatever the fucking
naval court.
yeah. And they have these. If you say this to the judge, he's going to have to get up and he's going to have to walk out of the room. If he comes back, you say this to the judge, and then he's going to have to get up and walk out of the room again. And what the fuck? The first time you say the magic word, and the judge sits there and goes, "Okay," and
Like, I don't think that people realize, like, yes, don't get me wrong. There are probably small snippets of what they are saying that was true.
that's
But
because no
see
one had
that,
ever thought to bring it up before, and they're like, "Hang on, let me check." And like, "Oh, see."
well, no, I think part of it too is like if you read the Bill of Rights, that's great, but you do know there was these things they did like many years after they're called, but that was fucking crazy. Oh, amendments.
Oh, right, yeah, those.
So,
Fuck.
you know, that like, listen, I get it. I am just as pissed as every other person on the planet that I've got to pay for fucking insurance and I got to pay for this and pay for that. Yes, we're all tired of getting charged out the ass. Blah, blah, fucking blah. But for all those crazy fuckers out there, you have to pay for it. You have to have it because we all do, whether
Most
we
people
like it or
who
not.
most people who really get like dive headfirst into this are people who are either in financial or legal jeopardy to begin with. So them finding the system saying, "Hey, maybe you don't have to pay for things, or maybe you don't have to follow this law," they're like, "Oh, perfect!" Like that's who that's for.
Well, my favorite ones too, and it's the same type of people, just a different format, are the ones that they've learned. I'm sure you've heard of like the straw man.
Yes, yes, that's part of
Okay.
it.
Well, in their mentality, they don't actually have to pay for debt. Their straw man has to pay for
Hmm.
debt, but they can't pay for debt because they don't have a job.
There's a difference between them on paper and them, the physical human being.
Yes. And so like they'll go out and buy a motorcycle and then eventually it goes to collections and then they're like, well, no, it doesn't because here's this piece of paper that states, nah, bitch. Because I'll tell you something right now. If that were the case, I'd be debt free like a motherfucker. Because I am poor and in debt up to my eyeballs. Like, And the thing is yes, that now don't get me wrong. There are some, again, there are some little very tiny snippets. There's it scraps underneath the plate. We're not even on the plate, but tiny snippets of it that are true.
I've seen
Like,
meteor crumbs and what they're going with, but
yes, I mean dust on a 1 grain of sand in the desert, but like there's certain ones like debt collect, and I only know this only because I actually went to college with a guy that used to work for one of these companies and he was telling me some of it and telling me how a lot of it's bullshit, but there is this one thing. And so like, for example, if you call a debt collector and or debt collector calls you and you say, well, I need written proof of the debt.
Yes.
There's a lot of times they don't have it because they do legitimately buy just fucking lists of debt. So they don't know who's who. They have a phone number and the amount. That's it.
They just start throwing a whole bunch of it at walls and seeing what sticks. Okay, yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. But there's all kinds of stuff. I think one of the biggest issues we have, and this actually, I got this piece of information from a guy who was nuts. But it's the one piece I can honestly say is really true, and that's so back in the day, you go back to the early, 1780, 1790, early 1800s, when this country was founded. Back then, there were two books that were in people's homes. It was the Bible and it was Black's Law. It was actually a law book. And that's the thing. Back then, people knew the law. They took their time to read and understand. And
there was nothing else to do.
Yeah. So,
those quiet hours in the night when it's too scary to go outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Sit by a little candle and read one of the two books that are available.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, people just don't understand the laws. And don't get me wrong, our lawmakers have gone fucking above. And have you read like I don't care what it is, pick a bill lately and try to read it. Good fucking luck. First off, I don't have that kind of time. Like, what's his bill? It's 1,700 and 234 pages. The fuck? Like I
released it last night. We're voting on it tomorrow.
and we released it last night. We're voting on it tomorrow. And just so you know, what we talked about, it was being like 2 days ago. We changed that shit. We didn't say anything though. Like there's just no way they've purposely done it. And plus, I don't read lawyerese, or as these days. In that case, I don't know how to read politician.
The lawyer is the brutal form of a politician.
Yes.
It's a larval.
Soon they go into their office and come out smelling like old, and then, but yeah, like people used to understand the laws back then. That's why things were different. People don't understand the laws right now, and I do honestly get the frustrations of a lot of people. I get it.
I gotta say one thing: if you watch those body cam videos, the time to argue it is not there in front of the police officer
because he don't care.
Yeah, you go to the court, you present your evidence. A lot of times, if the cop doesn't show up, it's like, yeah, whatever. Trying to argue with the police officer right there is not going to end well for you, whether you're right or if you're wrong.
And as someone who has been tased, just don't.
Tased and pepper sprayed and don't forget that thing with the nightstick.
Yeah, but that was something. What?
That wasn't the police officer.
But like, yes, there are certain things you can argue your way out of. Cool. People have done it. I mean, one of the most famous cases, which set a precedent and it changed a lot, was there was one case, I don't even remember it might have been out of Illinois actually, when they had all the stoplight cameras.
Yes.
One of the laws states that you have to be able to confront your accuser. Well, I can't confront a fucking camera. Because then you're the guy on the side of the road yelling at the fucking stoplight, and
The electronics
Um,
are Big
but
Brother's
he
watching.
won.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
won that case, but then they changed the law after to make sure that didn't count.
It's
So
kind of like
generally,
finding like an old like price tag at a store. Like you got to honor it. Like, okay, well, you get one, then we're gonna change it.
yeah, you can have this one, but fuck you. But like, I mean, listen, I think it should be in high school. It should be a requirement, to learn law, basic law. Like there should be.
Instead of like square dancing.
Well, here's something that's funny. This is interesting to me because this is a quote um, from a judge. I don't remember where. I think it was New York. During a case, the person said, "Well, I didn't know," and ignorance of the law does not mean. I don't remember the exact phrasing. I'm paraphrasing. It's ignorance of the law does not give you the right to break the law, essentially. But
Yeah.
here's the thing. It would take a lifetime to read all the laws in all the states across the country, and it would
And
never stop.
Yeah, keep up with any changes, and yeah.
Which I mean, that would be my argument as a lawyer. Be like, how do you expect a standard person who works 40 hours a week, has a family, to just know every law that exists? I mean, we all know the basics. Don't speed, except for in Kentucky, they don't know fucking clue what that means.
That's a suggestion.
Don't tailgate, except for in Kentucky, they don't know what the fuck that means. Tailgate, give me my beer and my barbecue. Like that's they're idiots.
No incest. That's you're not supposed to do that, except in Kentucky.
Bunch of fucking toothless hillbillies, I swear to God. But like to know like some obscure law, nah, come on now. Like that's kind of one of those things where like if I'm a judge and you broke some obscure law, because at the same time that's the same equivalent of, well, okay, you broke said law, but or better yet, you ever hear those things they do where it's like, here's 25 weird laws from weird states, and it's like you can't own more than 3 dildos. Like, are we holding people to this?
Well, that one's a vibrator. It doesn't count.
Yeah. And then at what point do we?
You can't drink a beer in front of a horse. What led up to it?
And that's the funny thing, because you have to ask you cannot kill and dissect and cut up and sell a blue whale in Montana.
Yes, that is true. That is a true statement. You can't do that.
Like, what? I'm fucking landlocked. I don't how.
If I got one here, I should be able to do whatever I want, right?
I mean, what? Like, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, there's so many fucking stupid laws, and we deal with so much stuff. But these sovereign citizens, man, they are. I get it. Like, I get their frustration and what they're trying to attempt to accomplish, but that ain't the way to do it. No. I mean, there's a lot better ways we could do that.
You need to get some sort of grassroots movement, some signatures on paper,
movement, some revolution, I mean, it depends on how extreme you want to take it. We can, we're talking a petition to revolution and a billion other options in between. Hey, here's a crazy thought.
No.
Find somebody that's running for an office you can vote for that with ideas you like. Vote for the son of a bitch. Get him in. It takes a little time, but hey,
you find it takes a bit more energy than making your own license plate. But
I don't know. You ever try to bend a license plate? Them some bitches are pretty heavy duty. Like,
not if you make them out of cardboard.
But the good news is though. I mean, and this is the thing this is the big one. Is depending on what state they're in, if they get busted and arrested and given prison time for having, for their 17th offense of having a cardboard license plate, they're going to still get to make license plates just in jail.
Be like, see, this is what a real one looks like. And so is this. And so you're going to be doing this for a while. Get used to it.
I don't know. I feel like that whole sovereign citizen, like I get it. I get the frustration and like this hope and dream that we can one up the government. Yeah, that's awesome. I get it. That's amazing. Who doesn't? We beat corruption, but you're one person arguing with a cop on the side of the road. The only thing you're going to beat is you're gonna get beat. Is what's gonna happen. Is
He can call for backup. What you can't be like crazy person. Need another crazy person.
lunatic needs a lunatic.
Mm, can I
Some
get another?
fucking some car pulls up with a guy sitting on a roof going wee wee.
He's got the same tinfoil we do. He's just flipping from like the shiny side to the dull side. You know what I like? That going into this, we both knew to put the shiny
Prostitutes.
side on the outside.
You got to put the shiny side on the outside. Otherwise, how will it reflect?
Yeah, you get the bad thoughts out. Keep the good ones in, or something like that.
And then you have to have the antenna on the top, which you forgot. That's how you get the good information in.
No,
That's how we all
I'm
communicate.
full. I'm full. I'm stuffed. I got too much in here.
I still stand by the fact that when I put this on, it got really quiet and it weirded me out.
That's kind of suck as we go back to like listen to this episode and find out who's interfering with it the entire time. All here's
Son of a bitch.
oh fuck it, publish it.
This will fuck with people.
You catch a new random pageant? Yeah, it's weird.
I got a couple of theories on it. Oh fuck.
It's actually the best one yet, though. I couldn't hear a damn thing they were saying.
And it messed the video, and it messed with the camera too, so I didn't have to stare at their ugly asses.
I fall asleep to it at night now. It's nice.
It's just kind of a hissing, almost like a white noise. It's great, except for the one time when Bill farted. I heard that for some reason.
All right. Anything else we need to cover before we head on out of here and take these goddamn things off our head? I feel like if I flip it over, I'm gonna have a water bowl. It's just a lot of sweat.
All I know is I got to take the one off my penis. That's
okay. Yeah, I did say put a tinfoil cap on your head. I didn't specify. No, that's on me. I get it.
yes. I mean, mistakes on you at that point.
The fact that you put like the pointy part on the inside, though, that's
Hey, don't judge. You got to roll it for a little while though, or else it's uncomfortable.
don't roll
Plus,
it too
you
much.
don't
You want it to be smooth. You don't want it to be too jagged.
Yeah. Yeah.
You start with a fresh piece.
Oh,
Oh god.
that's the last thing you want in your pee hole. I'm just saying. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, when they tell you to chew on a piece of tinfoil and it shocks your fucking brain.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting there thinking like there's metal in there and what would that do? Yeah, like it bothers me. Now I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Not too long ago,
Oh, fuck.
I had a day off. I'm like, I'm gonna hang out with my dad for a while. Go out to the restaurant. We're gonna have a good time.
How is
So I
your
go
dad
to-
anyways? I haven't.
I get to his house. Go, hey, you ready to go out? He goes, yeah. It's like, well, yeah, I guess. A weird thing happened to me though. My catheter fell out today. And what? What do you say after that? What do you say? Yeah, exactly. But like, oh well, I guess you still want to go out? Okay, yeah, go out. So we went out to eat in a restaurant. We had a good time, and we got back. His home care nurse was there, and he told him the same thing. Like my catheter fell out, and the nurse was like, well, I mean, if you're walking around doing fine, that's good. But at the same time, we should probably get the doctor to take a look at you before we just kind of leave it out. And so let's put it back in. And that's about the time when I left because I love my dad. I love both my parents. And, I try to be there for them as much as I can, but don't particularly want to see a guy caprice on my dad. And speaking of shoving things in the dicks, it just kind of reminded me. Oh, missed.
That's just for show now. I don't.
What do you want to talk about next now?
That's a way to end the episode right there. Like I don't feel like we need to do anything else. We've accomplished all the goals we've needed to accomplish.
Yeah, it's about as far as we can go today.
And somehow came full circle to the last episode. So that was amazing.
I'll try to tie it in. I gotta stop doing this motion. Is it this bothering you?
No, because in my mind it's like now it's a tinfoil catheter, and
There's still a balloon at the end. You know that? It's a holds it in. You
yeah, oh,
gotta,
I know. That's why when you said it fell out in my mind, I'm like, that is a huge urethra.
he said the balloon was still inflated. Inflated was just a weird thing. Him and I were joking. Like at one point, his dick was just like, you know what? It hooked to it.
Fucking damn it! He's just sitting there on the couch here. What was that noise? Son of a bitch! What was that noise?
I don't know. It felt amazing.
Oh,
Yeah, but you think we're old now? You think we got problems to worry about now?
yeah. Imagine this podcast here in about 20 years. This is going to be interesting. Random, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Random. Oh my catheter fell out.
Our sponsor today is Quicksilver brand catheter lube.
Oh God. Oh, I used to lube things up to put it in things. Now I'm lubing things up to put it in me. This ain't working. You know, somebody called me fucking Quagmire the other day.
I can see it.
Yeah. Well, fuck. I guess. Okay.
Yeah.
Why was my first thought is you're Stewie? I just no shit. I just realized that Elon Musk is Stewie.
Okay.
Like all grown up, like he's Stewie. Same crazy shit, not quite locked in yet. A little bit nuts. Could be a supervillain. Like, come on.
Uh-huh.
Oh God, I
see
broke
it.
it.
Oh no. My thing is, if we get to the age, like we have catheters, the
I like
other
how you
thoughts
included the word "if" in there. Thanks. That makes.
do the other thoughts stop? Like, do the penis thoughts stop? Do you stop thinking with your? How can they have any other thought besides?
No,
What else
I'm
could-
pretty sure that's not going to stop. That's
No. You're like, oh man, let me pull this up. Like,
okay.
the things I would do to that if this worked.
So, last part of this, and then we got to end it because after I tell you what I'm about to tell you, you're going to want to end it. So, due to an unforeseen piercing accident. Okay.
Unforeseen.
Just stare with me here. So I have hole A where the catheter would enter, but I also have a secondary hole that's unused.
What do you
I'll
keep
explain.
there? What do
Well,
you?
no, now my first thought is like, you ever seen the person that has like the air tube because they had cancer from smoking?
Mm.
Do I get the little, oh my God, is that go like, yeah.
Got to take an electronic whiz.
Now for the shake.
Yeah. How do
I'll
we end up
explain
talking
to
about dick
you.
again?
I'm on this podcast. Listen, you know what the weird thing is? We call it a podcast, but it's not really a podcast because I don't even
Podcast.
put it on the podcast. Jesus Christ. Balls.
We had the idea to put it back on the airways, but then like it's expensive.
Yeah, but then they wanted money. And I'm like, fuck you. I'm poor.
You're like, have you heard of the sovereign citizen movement? I don't need to pay for this.
I'm not paying for this. My straw man will pay for this.
The air is free. Y'all deserve air.
See, here's my problem. I just wish I had like a better straw man. Like I'd get behind that 100% if my straw man was rich.
I got the old straw. Something's been nesting in this straw. Mushrooms grow out of this straw.
The straw I got's the one that broke the camel's back. That's all I'm saying.
It still smells like camel too. Bad camel.
All right.
All right.
On that note, bad camel. That hurt me inside. On that note, I think we should call it for the evening. What do you say?
Yeah, evening. It's still morning, isn't it? How long have we been doing this?
No, I don't know. Too long.
Okay.
Wait, the podcast, this bullshit as a whole, or just this
All,
episode?
all of the bullshit.
Too fucking long. What are we going to talk about next week?
I don't know. I kind of like talking about YouTube videos we like to watch.
Hell yeah, I'm down. Okay. That
All
was
right.
fun. We'll talk about them. I like that.
Okay.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as discussed before, I am
Redacted. Oh, we're not doing that.
that was
I didn't have
Dude,
the voice ready.
you're gonna sit here and pretend like you were fucking being recorded or something. You're gonna freak people out. Like honestly, that's so stupid. Like honestly, like they're not gonna know who we are. I mean, our name.